Welcome back, beautifuls. It's so good to see you here. And I want to introduce the focus for today's episode, which is about the 3 keys to discovering ripe opportunities for getting clients. So there's always a lot of push to go out into the world and to market, right? And there's always, I tell all my clients, there's at least 1.5 to 2 years worth of people in your circle who are waiting for you to name a solution. And when you do, they want to work with you. And so there's a lot of ripe opportunities around us all the time. And I think we overlook that because we want to be so quick to be on social media and to be marketing, 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 marketing. And yes, we want to be marketing. And there's an opportunity to uncover the clients already in your world who are actually ready to work with you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to share a funny example, right? The restroom is a great place to potentially meet clients. I was in a community, in a spiritual community, and there was a woman in there, and we kind of knew who each other were, and we had sort of some common contacts, but we didn't specifically know each other well. And we happened to be in the restroom at one time, and I said, I really love the work that you're doing on teaching women about how to feel beautiful from the inside out and overcome body dysmorphia. I was one of those people. And also, she's gorgeous and stunning. And she's just one of those that like got all the right DNA, right? And we started talking, and she said, "Thank you for saying that. I've been feeling really down about my business lately." And I'm like, "Really? Like, it doesn't look to me like you have a lack of clients." And she said, "Actually, I do." She said, "I really, really struggle with enrollment." And I said, "Well, would you be open to hearing a couple of ideas?" And so we started talking, and next thing I know, she hired me, right? And there was this ripe opportunity of us being in a same circle, not knowing each other very well, but also knowing that if we were in this circle, we were people to be trusted. And it was just a compliment that turned into a client. And so it was very authentic and genuine, right? We want to be authentic and genuine, but sometimes we just need to treat people like we're in a normal conversation. And so that's what we did, and ended up being a long-term client. And that there's 3 keys to kind of being able to discover these opportunities so you can get high paying clients quickly, because there's people in your circle, there's people in your world who want what you have. And so the first key is to revisit existing relationships. We sometimes feel like, oh, they didn't buy, they'll never buy. And so I want you to release those judgments right now, because many of us overlook the potential clients that are already around us in our existing networks. People who already know us, know about us, like us, and would probably trust us either because they have a direct relationship with us or because we're in a circle where people are trusted, right? And never underestimate these opportunities, even if you're in a training circle and there are always needs that aren't getting met, right? And these might look like former clients, colleagues, acquaintances, or even social media followers. Sometimes we build sisterhood with people that we're in trainings together with, right? And after the training, sometimes people are floundering, or there's a new health need, or there's a money need, right? Or there's a support need, there's an emotional support need, because people's lives right now are in their face. I'm going to say this to you: meet the moment with the kind of relief that you offer, because in the US, especially for the next 6 months, it's going to be really interesting terrain where we've always had some normalcy around our elections. Now we don't. And so we're more like other countries like in Africa, where there's a lot of disruption around elections. And so meeting the moment right now is providing relief for people. There's something that you do that provides relief. Lean into that, right? And these people that we just talked about are ripe opportunities. You might have heard it called low-hanging fruit. That's just one metaphor. I like to think about it as a ripe and a rich opportunity, because if your come from is about serving, then it'll always feel authentic, and it'll always be like being in a genuine conversation with somebody versus being aggressive or overly salesy, which I think is really funny because I think heart-centered women could never be like that, honestly. And these ripe opportunities are already warmed up a little bit, right? So I'm going to give you an exercise. I want you to create a list of 10 people you already know who might benefit from your services, right? And encouraging you to think beyond the obvious. I've gotten more big name corporate clients because I thought to myself, if they knew what I knew, and you can have the same thought. If your potential clients knew what you knew, your acquaintances, your colleagues, former clients, or people that have been around you that did never say yes. And one of my classic maneuvers was my story with Chrysler. I was sitting on a niche market that I knew their agency didn't know about. And I knew that they wouldn't listen to me. We were too small. But I knew if I could get to the VP, it was a smaller audience, but it was 100% a concentration of people he would want to get in front of. And I eventually got in front of the VP of Chrysler. I flew to Detroit. I sat in his office and I said, here's something that you need to know about. And what I ended up doing was sending him an email that says, I have an idea for you. And he opened it and he responded and he said, be in my office on Thursday at 10 a.m. Done. Right. What ended up happening was he called the director of his advertising agency with me sitting in his office. And he said, she's sitting on something you need to hear about. And because it's small, you would probably ignore it. But I think it's an audience and a market we could own for not a lot of money. I'm sending her over there in a car right now. I expect you to meet her in the next hour. What's cool about this is that he took me seriously and he basically endorsed me to one of his decision makers, right? So if you're in corporate, that's a good way to go. If you're speaking to women who have their own businesses or women personally, right? By reaching out to them and saying, I have an idea for you, that I know that this might be a stressful time because of X, Y, and Z, that I've been thinking about you and I feel like there's something we should talk about. See how that's just like one human caring about another human? That's what we want to do. And I want you to write that list of 10 people you already know that could benefit from your services because I know you have them. Okay. You haven't been paying attention. And a lot of times we over focus on needing to find new people when in fact you could also deepen the relationships you already have. So I'm going to move on to the second key, which is recognizing unexpressed needs. This right now is an opportunity because there's unspoken challenges that people have, that the times that we're in the world, in the US, in all of our countries, in the unrest, the climate change. You've heard me talk about this a lot, right? It creates new problems for people. And what are those new problems? There's new challenges that your potential clients might have and not yet recognize they need help with. This is how you become a go-to mentor in your field. Because in today's world of extreme digital marketing, not all of us can afford the $250,000 a quarter ad budget, right, on Facebook. And that's a lot of responsibility and it's a lot of work. And you got to have your whole funnel and system all working. And you might not want a business that big, right? And you might. But I'll tell you again, momentum to millions starts with six-figure sovereignty and starts by impacting a lot of people. So sometimes your ideal clients don't even realize they need your help. And this is the art of understanding what you're doing because they aren't able to express their challenge fully. But your role is to uncover those ripe opportunities by recognizing the deeper needs behind what they share. So let me give you an example. Maybe someone in your circle has mentioned feeling stuck with their health or feeling stuck in their relationship or their marriage, but they haven't connected that struggle to your solution or your offer. This is your chance to actually step in and show them how you can help, right? And so an exercise I have for you is I want you to think of 5 people who recently mentioned challenges in their life, their business, their health, their money, their purpose, feeling lost, feeling like they're emotionally overreacting or struggling with the state of the world or something about their family, or, right, you've heard them mention a challenge. And I want you to reach out to them and ask them to consider how you can frame your services as a solution to these challenges in the context of, I have an idea for you. I know that X, Y, and Z might be impacting you. And I wanted to check in with you about that and just get into a conversation with them, right? So by you recognizing the unexpressed needs people have and how you discover those is looking at it for yourself. Remember when you were feeling something and you couldn't name it, and then when you realized what it was, there's a lot of other people in that same situation, right? And knowing that those around you are struggling with similar things and they aren't able to name their challenge. And here's a tip: a lot of times potential clients can't name the need because they're too stuck in the challenge. But when you name it, it feels like relief for them. So do some of your work on naming these unexpressed needs. Look to yourself. What were some of your unexpressed needs around marriage, or your unexpressed needs around relationship, your unexpressed needs about family or health or well-being or money or business or purpose, right? Lean into that. Ask yourself a different question, because then you can open the door to offering help in a way that's invitational and feels like a normal, natural conversation, like I'm just talking to you right now, right? Okay, so our third key: not enough of you make invitations. I have clients that have been in my world for over a year, and I've taught them how to make mini offers, and I've given them genius, brilliant A to Z solutions. Here's how to market it. Here's how to host it. Here's how to invite people into it. Here's how much, and here's how many people, and they still haven't launched it. Okay. So I'm like, gonna poke at you a little bit that we want to make genuine invitations to these ripe opportunities rather than hard selling, right? And many of you coaches, entrepreneurs, speakers, healers, teachers shy away from reaching out because you don't want to feel pushy. I think this is such a false fear because we feel like we've been judged, and it's in the feminine collective that we're not supposed to offer value. We're not supposed to stand up for our truth, and we're not supposed to speak up, invite people into conversations that would actually help them. And we've also been programmed to think that any help needs to be free, right? And so this is where this gets a little sticky. I promise you, being pushy is an art form and you don't have it. Can you just like let it go, like drop it over the side of the boat? Okay. Because the truth is, inviting someone into a conversation about something that would make a difference for them in their life is about being of service. We witness people, we see more for people than they can see for themselves. That's how this is not pushy. It's actually far from pushy. It's actually an act of sacred service. Because remember what it felt like to need help and not know how to name what you needed. And you just wanted someone to show up and get you, catch you, right? This is what we're talking about. So an example of this might be that you might say, I know you've been struggling with X. I'd love to have a conversation with you to see what I could do to help. And this is a low pressure way to extend a heartfelt invitation. So one of the exercises I want to give you is ask you to identify 3 people from your lists, from your colleagues, from your acquaintances, from your social media, who you could reach out to today. I said today, okay? It's not hard. With an invitation to chat, and emphasize the importance of making the invitation about serving, not selling. In that conversation, if it goes well, there's a moment where you could say, I have an idea for you about how I could help you in a deeper way, more fully. Would you be interested in hearing about that? Because we need to honor that we invited someone into a conversation, and we need to ask for permission to change the tonality, to be talking about a service we could offer in exchange for payment. Okay. This is not hard, ladies. We're always looking beyond what's right in front of us to go out and be the best marketer, the best social media person, or just squeeze a video out when we're not paying enough attention to the people that are already listening, already in our world. Okay. So the takeaway from this key is when you approach people with intention of helping, not selling, you turn potential clients into ripe opportunities. And it's the fastest way to get your next 3 high paying clients in less than 30 days. Okay. So we're going to recap really quickly is revisit your existing relationships, recognize unexpressed needs, make invitations, not pitches. So I want you to take action on all 3 steps. And I want to remind you that you're closer than you think. And until the next time that we talk, keep it fiercely